about a young man who just re-energized my entire faith that the future generations may not be fucked like Chuck. I am opening up an outdoor store in Diablo, Mississippi, and we're going to have live bait and corn and feeders and shooting houses and rods and reels and all the good shit, right? Anyway, I had a job interview this afternoon, 4:45, and not for me, but a young man put in a job application with me. He wants to come work for me at the new store. So I had a meeting with him. I called him in for a job interview. He come in to the office, sat down, talked to me. But when he came in for his job interview, his dad come in right beside him and sat down right beside him. His dad was just as nice as he could possibly be, very nice man. But I thought it was a little bit weird at first. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, you know, this young man is maybe 15, maybe 16 years old. This might be his first job interview he's ever had for in his life. So his daddy wants to make sure that his little ass is in there conducting himself the proper way in a job interview. And I respect that. It took me a minute to realize what was going on, but I respect that because we ain't got enough parents that are hands-on with their kids these days. I like that shit. Anyway, we went through the whole process, and I told him what his duty was going to be working for me, and you know the respect that I require to not only me and the other staff members, but also the customers, and what his duties were going to be. And he was accepting, and he was real respectful and everything like that. I really liked him. I did. I saw him as a good young man, had his head on straight. Well, at the end of the interview, I stood up to shake both their hands. I shook his daddy's hand, and I shook his hand. And as soon as I shook his hand, he looked over at his daddy and he said, "Excuse me, Dad, can I have a minute alone with Mr. Zach?" His daddy said, "Absolutely, son." So his daddy walked out into the retail store, which is still under construction. But he walked out into there and left me and that young man in there by ourselves. The young man looked at me and said, "Mr. Zach, I got to let you know why I'm here." I said, "All right, buddy, I thought you wanted a job." He said, "No, I do want a job, sir, I do. But I'm letting you know why I'm here, so maybe you can have a little bit more faith in me." I said, "All right, well, what you got going on?" He said, "My daddy told me I didn't have to get a job. I make straight A's. My dad does relatively well. I'm here to try to prove something to my daddy." And I said, "All right, what you trying to prove to your daddy for working at an outdoor store, buddy?" He said, "My mom and dad, when I was coming up, always said over and over and over, my daddy especially said that me and your mama's a team. We're a team. On a team, you can accomplish anything. If you got two mules pulling a wagon and one of them's sitting on their ass and one of them's pulling, you ain't gonna go nowhere. But if you got two mules pulling that wagon as a team, you can accomplish some stuff." I said, "Well, my daddy used to say the same thing, buddy." He said, "Yeah, but my mama done run off. And she done found her a new boyfriend, and she's gone, and I can see the hurt in my dad's eyes." I said, "I'm sorry to hear that, buddy." He said, "Yeah, I am too, but it's life, and I'm learning that life ain't always pretty." And I said, "Buddy, you have no idea. Just wait till you get to be like 21, 22 when the real world hits. You ain't got no idea what's in store for you. This is a cold, cold world out there." He said, "I'm starting to learn that, sir. But I'm here today against my daddy's wishes. Even though he's with me, he keeps on telling me I do not have to get no job. But I want to get this job just to show him that just because his teammate run off don't mean he's the only one left standing. I might have been on the B team, but I'm ready to move up to varsity, and I want to show my daddy that no matter what, he's always going to have somebody on his team, and that's me." And y'all, I am way too big to be getting emotional, especially in front of people that I really don't know, like 15, 16-year-old boys. That hit me square in the heartstrings. I'm talking about dead nuts, center bullseye. So, he didn't have to wait very long in order to get a call from me, because by the time I wiped my damn eyes, I looked over at him, I said, "You hired. Because I got full faith in everything you just said, that you meant it, and I know that you won't let me down." And he shook my hand like a man. He squeezed it real hard. He told me, he said, "Sir, I'd rather die than let you or my daddy down. That ain't why I'm here today." That young man restored my faith in the future generations, that they ain't all gonna roll over and just accept what is, or whatever the hell she said. Some of them out there, if they see a problem, or if they see somebody hurting, they finna do whatever is within their power in order to make sure that don't happen no more. That shit meant a lot to me. It might not mean a lot to y'all, but I felt the need to share it. That young man did something special today. It don't happen very often. Respect, buddy, if you watch this video. Can't wait to have you at the store. Shit.